This is Bucknell basketball on MyTV WQMY.
A fine good afternoon, friends. Joining you from Lewisburg on the campus of Bucknell University. It's American, it's Bucknell, and we are set to go with the tip-off just moments away. It's senior day for the Bison. I'm Adam Marco, the Hall of Famer Pat Flannery joining me for the fun today. The last game on this home floor, at least regular season-wise for Bucknell. Patriot League tournament coming up, and the seniors being honored before the game. The starting lineup as they take on American. The Eagles come in at 2-5. Jameer Harris, one of the top players in the Patriot League, third best in scoring this season. Stacey Beckton, Ben Luberski, Connor Nelson, and Josh Alexander, the big man for American, and Mike Brennan. For the Bison here on senior day, they put two seniors in the starting lineup. Jordan Seachin gets the call along with Paul Newman. Back in the lineup as well, Xander Rice, Andrew Funk, and Walter Ellis. These seniors have played a big part of the program, honored in a pregame ceremony, and now getting the starting nod one more time here at Soika Pavilion. Your officials today, Edward Corbett, Dave Fernandez, and Phil Solicito. Opening tip controlled by Bucknell. And the Bison get us started wearing their orange tops, orange shorts, American in the blue jerseys, blue trunks. Xander Rice drives in, switches to the left hand off the glass and in. Coach, pretty good start, 18 seconds in, and Bucknell on the board early. What a big day here at Soika.
It's just so interesting today, this game with American and BU on so many different fronts, as well as the league. But certainly starting out and being so aggressive is a great start for Bucknell.
Here's a shot outside from Connor Nelson. He buries the three and gives the American Eagles a 3-2 lead. American University making the trek up at 2-5. It's all in South Division play. This has been a very difficult season, let alone month for teams across the country in college basketball, both men's and women's. Here's Ellis driving in, finger roll off the glass and in. The Bison haven't played since we were here last on January 31st.
What odds do you think if you sat here right now in end of February and said 2-5 and 4-4, these two teams had played that game? The odds you would get on that. I'm sure they're really excited to be playing both teams. And you know, this tournament is going to be absolutely wild in the Patriot League.
Connor Nelson skies in for the rebound. Second effort from American doesn't fall. Bucknell back the other way. Xander Rice drives in, stops after losing a little bit of his pace. Now inlet pass for Paul Newman, the senior. Trying to back his way in on Alexander. Passes a little errant, but Rice is able to corral.
Great day for Bucknell to really find another score for this team. You know, with John Meeks being out of the game, I'm sure Coach Davis is looking at this. They play today, they play tomorrow, then you go into the tournament. So what you're really looking for today is somebody to step up, and Ellis. A Funk can score, but Ellis or Rice or somebody that can give them that other dimension, and that's what he's looking for.
Connor Nelson to the line. Foul called against Bucknell. Walter Ellis. So going into this season, the Patriot League had to make a lot of changes because of COVID protocols, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But they were looking at an 8-team tournament. But because of the schedule and how little teams have played, ultimately the decision has been made to go to a 10-team tournament, really opening the door as long as people can get there. So it changes their perspective even from what plans were set months ago.
I think what plans were set 2 weeks ago, Adam, to be honest with you. I mean, everything is on the fly right now, trying to do what's right with protocol. And remember, these are institutions that are academic of higher learning. So
Sure.
They're going through, each campus is also going through different things on their own. They have to make those decisions.
It's a 6-4 advantage after Josh Alexander's first bucket of the game. Kick it outside. Seachin's pass is tipped into the official, and it will stay with Bucknell.
Well, it's also interesting. Senior day, there's always been a tradition of starting the seniors. Seachin has been somebody part of this program. Coach has been loyal to him. He starts him today to play. So you're going to see 10, 12 guys today for Bucknell or whatever they have. You're going to see some different bodies in there today. I'm sure Coach Davis is going to give everybody a look. And
some penetration here by Xander Rice, and he gets fouled along the way. We've gone through the first 3 minutes or so. We haven't mentioned a few names. There are a few players that are out due to COVID protocol. As you see Ellis drive, and the foul is drawn John Meeks is the big name. Meeks and Andre Screen are out because of COVID protocols. Alex Timmerman, Malachi Rhodes out today. And that where you get to finding scores and finding other players to participate in this. We've seen Coach Nathan Davis use his bench, but he has to find those points off the bench now.
Yeah, he really does. But, you know, the overall play of the team, like just there in that replay, Lebarski is a kid that you can tell every time somebody picks him up when they're switching, they're going to drive it on him. So they have a plan of who they want to attack for American. So obviously they know defensively or offensively who they want to attack. Offensively, for American, they have 3 kids that can really score at different times. They've had 30 games. Harris has had it, Becton. There's really been a real interesting dynamics for American because they can score. There's a perfect example, an opportunity to score for their big kid and they kick it out for the 3. That would drive me crazy. But they are looking to shoot that 3, and they turned it over. So, you know, who's going to execute?
It's Johnny O'Neal with the foul, knocking Xander Rice down to the court. You mentioned Harris, one of the best scorers in the Patriot League and arguably one of the best scorers in the country this season at over 20 points per game, 20.6 to be exact, and that puts him 3rd best in the Patriot League this year.
I think the last time I saw him, Adam, was down at American, did a game last year, and he hit a dagger in front of us. We didn't get out of there with one. But, you know, they certainly can grind this team, and they can score in different ways. The body of work, though, they're 2-5. And they were in the game the other night that they lost by 12. I think it was a point at halftime. So they obviously can, you know, they obviously have a team that has some ability. I know Coach Brennan, talking to Coach Greenman on their staff, really had high expectations for this season going into it. And then to play 7 games and not get really a flow.
There's really no point in time at the end of February where I could run you down the entire schedule of a team and tell you how they did. You're talking 20, 30 games. But for American, 87-86 lost to Navy to start their season on January 16th. The next day, 71-59 loss. Then a win over Loyola. The next day, the 24th of January, 81-79 in triple overtime over Loyola. Couple of losses to Navy, and then the loss you mentioned on Wednesday night against Loyola. That is their season.
That's the body of work. Boy, I tell you. Oh, boy, I tell you. Rice is just taking the ball to the hole on them. It's got to be great to see. Surprised they're letting him go right every time, and he can really finish there. I think they're having trouble defending that high pick and roll.
Couple of substitutions as the seniors come out. Jordan Seachin and Paul Newman to the bench, as well as Walter Ellis. Deuce Turner steps onto the floor for the first time. So does Miles Lattimore. And down in the paint, somebody that's going to pick up a lot of minutes here today is the sophomore forward, Jake Vanderheide.
Yeah, and with American lineup, and they're kind of a team, they're not really they play with one big sometimes. So this is a great lineup to be able to play a kid like that in the 5 spot because they're wide and they all handle it. That's what they try to score.
Harris from distance rattles around, no good, but the rebound, Christian Lorng. Lorng's put back off the mark, and the board down into the hands of Vanderheiden. Bison will come back the other direction. Rice off to Vanderheiden, long distance 3, hits the iron, no, right back out to Xander. Deuce Turner, and around we go. Funk fakes the shot, travels his way in without any call, a little bit of contact, scoops it in for 2. First basket of the game for Andrew Funk.
So easy getting the ball to the hole. American doesn't really have a shot blocker. You got to give Bucknell credit for their aggressiveness driving the basketball. They're not settling for 3s, a couple, but they're not settling for them once they got the ball back. It's great to see. I'm sure Coach Davis is very pleased.
Bison fell behind 6-4. It's now a 7-0 run for Bucknell. Harris behind the back, bounce pass into the paint to Lorng. Just spikes it off the glass, off the box and in. Breaks up that string for Bucknell, now 11-8.
Both teams man-to-man, side-to-side, pick and roll, switching. They're really given a lot of opportunities.
Shot rims out. The rebound into the hands of Matt Rogers for the Eagles.
Get the feeling American wants to have a half court, a little bit of a tempo. They want to keep the ball in Harris's hands. but they're going to try to isolate. I know last time out they only had 6 assists. So they do a lot of things on one-on-one off the dribble once they go ball reversal. They try to lift and then open up the floor. Boy, I don't remember Harris being that kind of a shooter, a three-pointer. I remember him getting the ball to the hole a lot, so he's changed his game a little bit.
Timeout on the floor. It's 11-8 Bucknell. A foul will stop play, and we're back in just a moment. We'll tell you a little bit more about Jameer Harris, the season he's had, the career he's put together when we come back. 11-8. This is Bucknell basketball, courtesy of Learfield IMG College on MyTV.
I don't remember him shooting so many threes.
11-8, Bucknell has the advantage. Joining you from Stoica Pavilion, I'm Adam Marco, the Hall of Famer Pat Flannery, courtside with me, well, nearly courtside here today. Coach, senior day, this is always a big time of year, that last opportunity to thank those players and even student managers who have been a part of your program for 2, 3, 4 years and made Bucknell certainly what it is today.
Well, like everything, Adam, nothing's normal. So you have the seniors out on the floor, nobody in the arena, their parents are up on the big scoreboard clapping and cheering, just like nothing you can imagine. But it's still there, the emotion, the feeling, the 4 years. I just said, I can't believe John Meeks is a senior. It seems like he just got here, and that's the way it always happens with good players.
Every other game we've done, John Meeks is a player to watch. But today, out of the lineup, who do we look for instead from American and Bucknell?
Well, Funk absolutely can score, and he's a guy you have to look to. I thought Ellis and Rice would be 2 guys that have to step up, and certainly Rice has really shown the mettle. As far as American, Harris is their go-to guy. Becton can really score. I think he's a little banged up. I haven't seen him do a whole lot today, but he's a guy, and certainly Alexander is the other guy. Can rebound, can play to 5 to 4. He can guard at any position. So they're the 3 keys to this team. They're very high on the freshman O'Neal. I haven't seen him play yet, but their coaching staff loves him.
11-8, 13:50 to go here in the first half. American with the basketball. This is Matt Rogers down on the baseline, just tight-roping it. Trying for some help from Colin Smalls. Inlet pass, pivot around, flip it up under, and they'll get a travel here on Josh Alexander. Alexander, junior from Carmel, New York, 6'8", 243-pounder. He's at 10.4 points per game. There are just a couple of guys in double figures for American. The big one, though, is Jameer Harris at over 20 points per game. You say you don't really see him shoot from three-point range much this year. He's a 45% shooter from 3, so I'd take the shot.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily a part of his game.
He's a get the ball to the hole and finish because he's strong. He's been around, and it's great to see for American that he's been able to shoot that. But again, the body of work overall, he's much better going to the basket and getting there when Americans going to be successful.
So turnover here by Xander Rice as the Bison will give it back to the Eagles with the opportunity to tie.
So many of the games, Adam, if you look at them, everybody switches. There's so much about personnel and matchups in the game now. Every time there's a switch, they're playing different guys. Here you go. There you go. There's a case where nobody's going to play Harris 3 through 5 out on the perimeter. So I don't know if they're going to try to keep their guards on them, hedge with their bigs, but there's going to be a lot of isolation, which there is in every ball game nowadays.
Foul called against Vanderheiden, his first, team's 3rd. Nelson, top of the key, bounce pass into Colin Smalls, and Smalls got a fingertip on it, couldn't quite get the grasp. Would have had a good look to the hoop if he possessed the basketball. Well,
there is a perfect example of a coaching style. Coach Brennan comes from Princeton. He incorporates a little bit of their style. I think he was very excited to see a backdoor so crisp, and they didn't execute. So they might be a step away from being able to play like that, but that certainly comes from his Princeton days.
High ball fake by Deuce Turner, but loses it on the shot. The Eagles come back the other direction. Harris lost the handle, but gets back pretty cleanly, pretty quickly. Here's Alexander. Alexander, top of the key, Nelson. Nelson drives to his left, leaves it for Smalls, back to Nelson. Smalls gets it back. Little jumper in the lane, no good. And the rebound to Xander Rice.
Everybody did a good job there guarding their guys.
Vanderheiden inside, has the ball stripped away. American comes back the other direction.
Their spacing isn't great with American. They really seem congested.
Turnover here by the Eagles. so far this season, that's certainly been one of the issues for American. In their 7 games, they're averaging 17.1 turnovers per game.
Yeah, a little, that's just a little careless there.
Just saw Coach Nathan Davis. Couple of things going on today for Bucknell. It's senior day, but Coach also has a towel draped over his shoulder. Here's a turnaround jumper from Miles Latimer, no good. Rebound to Nelson. Of course, that's paying tribute to the late John Thompson, legendary Georgetown coach. You know, there are plenty of legendary coaches for me in college basketball, but Coach Thompson was certainly one of those guys that people modeled their style after, and the talent that went through Georgetown. Everybody was a Georgetown fan, I think, at some point. Yeah. And John Thompson was a big part of that.
Well, the first time I saw John Thompson in person was Final Four my first year coaching, and it was out in Seattle, and they were in the Final Four. And oh my gosh, they were so big and physical and so strong, and they played so hard. And he had such a command. And then I read stories about him, and he became so close to these kids and their families that he really helped pick kids up and really did a job with that. So he was certainly there. And we lost a great one in Coach Chaney as well. You know, these two institutions in the game together. It's really it's really something, and a tribute to them. I'm proud of our program.
It's absolutely an era of basketball. Some of those coaches still around today, not enough, however. It's 13-10. Deuce Turner hits a shot. The Bucknell lead was trimmed down to 1. It's back to 3. 10:58 to go in the first half. Back in a moment on My TV, courtesy of Learfield IMG College. (13-10) Bucknell in front. Geisinger is proud to be the official sports medicine and orthopedics provider of the Bucknell Bison. It's part of our community commitment to over 40 university and high school athletic programs across Pennsylvania in the areas that we serve. Schedule an appointment at geisinger.org/sports. Bison basketball also brought to you by Fairfield. There's a reason why you come here. With every visit, we embrace our customers like family. We're the name you've trusted for over 33 years. Fairfield isn't just any dealership, we're the area's most trusted dealership. Fairfield, for fantastic deals, you're gonna love us. 10:58 to go here in the first half. It's 13-10, Bucknell in front. Don't forget all of our three-pointers brought to you by our good friends at Dunkin', donating 3 pounds of coffee for every 3 made here today. It's not been a good start for donating coffee. American 1 for 5. The Bison are 0 for 5 from behind the arc so far. We'll get there. I have faith. There's a shot up and in. That's Becton Jr. with his first basket of the game.
Seems when Becton plays within himself, he has that 17-footer. When he's tried to go outside of that is when he hasn't scored as well. But he's had some big games for them over the course of his career.
Within a point, Bison still in front. Spin move by Turner. Looking to go inside to Newman.
Philly to Philly there.
Newman up, under, and strong enough, not too strong, just enough to get it over the rim and get that kiss back in, 15-12.
Good presence from both teams going inside and getting some touches before they go out. So they've both really been doing that a lot, going inside and getting out.
Whoa, that's right. Alexander with a hook shot that started at his hip.
That was an old-time hook shot.
Scooped that one in. Turner looking over top to Newman. Newman double teamed, left hand, doesn't get the shot to fall, but he's headed to the line for a pair. Newman, 33% from the line this season. On the floor now for the Bison, it's Turner, Funk, Newman, Miles Lattimore. As you see Newman get the contact here, but also on the floor for the first time we've seen is Josh Ado, a freshman from Bellflower, California. Went to St. John Bosco High School before spending last year at Combine Academy near Charlotte, 3-time Scholar athlete, most improved player and offensive player during his senior year, getting some time here with all these other players out due to protocols.
Well, he had some protocol for a while, Adam. I mean, even here, living on campus, nobody knows a whole lot about him except for the staff and the kids, and everybody's very high on him, but he's had, I think a concussion protocol was for a while.
Here's Harris for 3, launches, and it's good. 16-15, Bison still in front. Ado is 6'3"-ish, give or take an inch there, and 220 pounds.
Paul Newman's really going to have to play a lot of minutes today. I think you referenced that before, but looks like he's really ready to play. There's Lattimore.
First dunk in 3 of the game for Miles Lattimore. 19-15 as the Bison respond. That basket by Harris, his first of the game. First couple of points on the board for third leading scorer in the Patriot League. Nelson looking inside, and a foul called against Josh Alexander. Gets contact on Miles Lattimore, and that's a little bit of a mismatch favoring Alexander. Lattimore at 6'4", Alexander stands 6'8".
Oh gosh, I got to tell you, Adam, this is always hard to take. I'm not one for this, I don't think. So there's a post play, and it's a little rough in there. And as soon as the guy makes the call, there was a complaint last time that the kid was posting hard. So now they're going to go to the monitor and see what was up there. It was a good hard play in the post area. I can't believe that any of it was flagrant. So now we're going to stop the game. We're going to take a look at it. But, again, they're my prejudices on some of these guys.
So as you look into this huddle here with Nathan Davis talking to the players, you see that T-shirt that he's wearing, the staff is wearing?
Here we go. I'm sorry.
No worries.
There we go. Here's a case. There's a little bit of a flop, a little bit of hands up high. Play on. It's a foul. Let's go. Let's put it in play. Bucknell ball. I'm sorry.
Nope.
You're saying about the towel.
No worries. So the towel is John Thompson. The T-shirts are the Patriot League's anti-racism campaign, and from Mary McGlockety, the Anti-Racism Commission. As athletes, we feel the logo on these shirts important for teams to participate, showing their allyship and solidarity for teammates, coaches, competitors of color, acknowledging wearing the logo alone is not a solution. These are conversations, and both teams were wearing these shirts in pregame warm-ups today. Some of the American players not in the lineup at this moment in time still have that warm-up top on, and it's all throughout Bucknell's staff and bench at the moment.
Well, think about it, Adam. We say before, these are top institutions in the country. These kids are going to be leaders. These kids are going to be people that are going to change this world. So to be very aware of things and to be conscious of it, what a great move by the league. We got young kids that are looking up to these guys. So that's one thing, and then the other thing is the towels and honoring John Thompson. We'd shown it before. They're looking for things to do. You have a platform, so use it. And if you've ever talked to any of these kids that are student athletes at these universities like Bucknell and American, they can hold their own with anyone in a conversation, whether it's social, political, athletic, whatever. They're just the sharps of the sharp.
19-15, 8:45 remaining here in the half. Bison off the mark, rebound to Stacey Beckton Jr. On the right side of the floor, guarded by Lattimore. Contact called here, and they're going to Colin Smalls running into Walter Ellis. Check that, Xander Rice. It's the offensive foul.
Wow.
7th team foul called against the Eagles.
Like to see that one again.
No. Off to Andrew Funk for 3. Off the rim, no good. Rebound tipped around by Newman. Can't find it, but Loring does. First rebound for Christian Loring. Beckton dribbles to the left side. Turns direction back. Goes out to the front. Johnny O'Neill's shot. No. Rebound to Newman. Not a whole lot there around Paul Newman for the board. Here's Lattimore for 3. No good. Rebound, O'Neill.
Feels like two teams, Adam, that you would expect that have been off a little bit. I know they played the other night, but it feels like two teams that have been off. They're trying to find their way. They're trying to execute. Playing hard.
Lattimore for 3. Buries another Duncan triple.
Not bashful. That's what you like to see from a scorer. Kid has a lot of experience. I mean, he played in a great conference, and he's shown this before where he's given them big lifts.
22-15. Loring into the corner. Harris trying to shake off Xander Rice. Push it back inside. Loring misses. Rebound Goes to Nelson. Nelson back outside. Harris looks at a long three. Kick it to the corner. Here's O'Neal for three to answer. 22-18, just over 7 remaining here in the half. Latimer to Funk. Andrew Funk will drive into a double team. His pass stolen away, nearly saved by Becton. But his pass, trying to save it, goes further out of bounds, and that'll give us a stoppage in play. 22-18 the tally, 7 minutes on the dot remaining here in the first half. Back in just a moment. This is Bucknell basketball from Learfield IMG College on MyTV. (22-18). The fans look a little different this year. All of these fans supporting the program by buying these cutouts to cheer on the Bison men and women throughout the course of this season. Miles Latimer at the point right now, and it'll be an inbound from Xander Rice as we get started back to action. Heading into this weekend, the final weekend of regular season play within the Patriot League. And they've changed things around for the tournament, so the standings are what they are. It's going to have less of an impact perhaps than it would have with an 8-team tournament, now with 10 teams involved. Here's Funk going in, loses the ball out of play, and no foul called. It's just a turnover by Bucknell.
Wow.
So atop the standings, depending on how you look at it, Colgate 11-1, lead the North. Lafayette 7-5, lead the Central. Navy at 13-2 overall. They're 5-0 within their own division. The big thing for Bucknell, it's all about seeding for these teams this weekend. Here's a bucket and one. If the Bison win here today, they are guaranteed at least a 5th seed in the tournament next week.
Yeah, strong move. You got to give it to Bolarski. I think he had trouble early, and the coach put him back in with a little fire.
He'll head to the line, a chance to bring this down to a 1-point deficit once again. It's been there a few times. Shot's no good. And a violation here, foul called against American. Let's see where they handed it's Christian Lorne. So when you're putting you hope at least, you're putting all 10 teams in the tournament and see how protocols and things happen over the next week. This is very much a day-to-day scenario across college sports anymore.
Yeah.
So with that, a 5th seed, giving Bucknell at least that upper half of the bracket. Is it where you expected them to land this year? I mean, can you expect anybody to be in any spot in a season like this, like none other?
Yeah, you really can't. And the way it's happened as far as how many teams, Navy was able to play early, got off to a good start, so they were there. Colgate was going to be very good. And certainly Bucknell was going to be in the thick of things. But with the number of games you played and a one-bid team, or a one-bid league, they're all just trying to get their guys healthy and get enough practices and enough games. I think it's going to be pretty wide open. I mean, clearly Navy and Colgate record-wise, but there's a number of teams. I mean, Lafayette's beaten a lot of people. Bucknell on any day can beat any of these teams. So I think there's 5 or 6 that you legitimately can say can win this league. The leagues that have multiple bids, it's even a little more. It's a little different from there. The ones that are multi-bid, leagues, the ACC and they're all trying to play as many games as they can to get as many people as they can in. And how that selection committee is going to go, there's just nothing that is going to be able to be uniform on how they decide this.
Foul called against Bucknell. It sends Matt Rogers to the free throw line for a couple. It's 24-20. 6:09 to go here in this opening half. Vanderheiden is out. Paul Newman back onto the floor for the Bison. Rogers had been perfect at the line. Limited opportunities, mind you, but perfect up until that first shot. Hits 1 for 2.
He's given him some minutes today. This kid, he's battled him in there. I don't think they liked what they did early in getting the ball in the post so easy. So today's one of those days, Adam, where coaches are going to see who can match up the best because they're still feeling each other out, and you just don't have a lot of scout to be able to go on.
6th turnover of the afternoon for the Bison. Here's a shot, no good. Rebound, Deuce Turner. Turner on the run. goes behind the back, drives in, loses his defender, puts it up and in.
His finish, he keeps his eyes on the basket, and he's a strong kid, so you can see from the early on, probably in the playgrounds, he loves the contact, and boy, can he finish. He just finishes up at the rim.
On the move, Lubarski.
Wow.
Off the curl, no. The rebound tipped around. Nelson pulls it in. Back outside, Becton has a look for three and got it. 5 in the game for Stacey Becton Jr. 26-24, just over 5 remaining in the half. Funk to Latimer, off to Rice. Rice, off a pick, no. Leave it outside for Turner. Wants another, this for 3, and he got it. Top of the key. 7 in the game for Deuce Turner. Check that, make it 8 in the game for Deuce Turner. 29-24, Bucknell in front.
Big threes every time American has had something, Bucknell's come back and answered. Latimer answered, Deuce answered.
Ball tipped out, will stay with the Eagles. Substitution here is Johnny O'Neal will come onto the floor. Bison will put Josh Ado back on as well. Ado for Miles Latimer.
You know, the other thing, Adam, we've talked about it before, but I don't think people can really understand that, you know, game situations are so different than practice. No matter how much you want to run and all, there's an anxiety, there's a feel, and they just haven't played that many games. So you see kids get a little winded a little quicker.
Penetration, Becton draws the foul, head to the free throw line where he's 67% this season. Josh Ado picks up the foul, his first.
Yeah, he saw the mismatch. He saw here's a young kid on the floor the first time, and Becton's eyes lit up. He just took it hard to the hole. What's going on with a lot of the matchups and individual, we've talked a little bit about it before, but the way the game is played and the way the young kids are coming up in the AAU and the tournaments, there's so much that goes on to individual development. So the individual skill is so important. So the ball gets reversed, and you can almost see when a player feels he has a mismatch in the game, and that's the way the game's evolved. They have a mismatch, and they just attack it. Where it used to be where you tried to stay with your man with big people hedging and keeping them with them, and the game just changed that way, and I guess evolved that way because of the three-point line. There's just so much switching. So you really have to have an IQ to be a good player. The way the game is played and the way the switching goes.
Becton hits them both, then heads to the bench. Here's Andrew Funk, off to Rice. Rice to Funk, behind the back, trying to lose the defender, 10 to shoot. Gets the shot off, front side of the rim, no good. Rebound into the hands of Johnny O'Neal, his second board. Off to Harris, 29-26. American has gotten within one a couple of times. Drive, stopped by Lubarski. Back around we go. Off to the right side. Contact here, and they're going to get Xander Rice with the call.
Again, they got to take that right hand away from him. As soon as he gets downhill with the right, he's too strong and a veteran.
29-26, foul shots coming up when we come back. Nathan Davis pleading his case at center court. You see Deuce Turner hit one here for 3. That's the advantage right now, 29-26 on MyTV. (29-26), just under 4 to go here in the opening half of play. Geisinger is proud to be the official sports medicine and orthopedics provider of the Bucknell Bison. It's part of our commitment to more than 40 university and high school athletic programs across Pennsylvania in the communities that we serve. Schedule an appointment at geisinger.org/sports. You see the Bison record here, and if you were to say in February, the 27th of said month, we would have 8 games, a 4-game winning streak, and a 4-game losing streak, and that was it. Well, no one would believe you, but after the year we've had, the year and a half we've had, everyone believes it now. Bison looking for their first 5-game winning streak in 2 years. Struggled at the start of the season, played extremely well against Lehigh, and now they finish out the slate this weekend against American.
Well, it's certainly around the country. There's so many scenarios of different people. We just talked about Bucknell just now. There's teams coming back a 40-day layoff, playing 2 games beating the best team in the league, and then they go on protocol again. It's just you can pick a story up everywhere in the country. It's just crazy.
Here's Turner, inlet pass, tipped by Newman, last touched by Newman, in fact. And you know, there's so much that goes into putting these games on, and the protocol and the testing and everything that these student athletes have to go to. And lest we forget, they are students. They are focusing on education throughout the course of this year, in addition to trying to play, you know, in the case of John Meeks, a Paul Newman, a Jordan Seachin, play another season, get one more year of what they love to do in. Whether or not it continues, whether or not they're fortunate enough, here's a long range three from Turner, no. But these are a lot of memories missed as well for these kids.
Oh.
Shot from distance, Harris, no. Rebound goes to Rice, and he'll slow it down.
A couple deep shots there. Yeah, you're right, Adam. I mean, you got to think of the whole thing of where these kids are during the day, in the students, you know, in the student body, you know, and coaches and administrators as well. The administrators want them to play, and they're trying to make decisions every day too.
Catch and shoot by Turner, got it for three. 32-27, second three-pointer of the game for Deuce Turner, courtesy of Duncan. To answer American, no. Rebound down at the feet of Miles Latimer. He'll pick it up and push it on the run. 2:30 to go here in the half. Rice off to Turner. 10 points for Deuce Turner. That's a game high from any player. Andrew Funk has been quiet here in the half. A couple of hard dribbles, turns the left side, and his shot's no good. Rebound pushed by Alexander into the hands of Johnny O'Neal. Harris, a little stutter step. Outside O'Neal for three, and he's got it.
He's the kid they really like, this freshman. He's funky shot, but he's long. And a kid that they've been very high on.
Native of Miami Shores, Florida. 6'9", 200-pound freshman forward. On a team that doesn't have a whole lot of forward depth. Here's a high pass to Funk, and it's stolen away by O'Neal. Up the floor, Luke Barsky, bucket and one. He'll run into Xander Rice. Be another foul for Rice. Give American the opportunity to make this a one-point game again.
Yeah, had the idea, pretty close call there, but that European step they give you when you step across like that, these guys get used to making that call, so that's one could have gone either way. But again, Barsky's been a kid that's been around. He's a lefty, a little different, and seems like a good competitor. He's missed a couple peepers, but he started out, now he seems to be a guy that they have a lot of confidence in.
That'll tie it up at 32, and a chance for the American lead for the first time since the opening minute. 33-32. 5 in the game for Lubarsky. Turner at the foul line, shakes his defender. His shot's too strong. Rebound to Connor Nelson. Minute 20 remaining. Nelson had a look. 2 there for the steal. At least one of them comes up with it. It's Andrew Funk.
That's what they call, Adam, telegraphed. I think 3 Bucknell players were between him and the American player.
Funk to Rice. Right side of Doe. Crossover, now Newman. Newman takes it hard to the hoop. Spins his way through, loses the ball without a call. Nelson comes up with it and will bring it back the other way to Harris. Under a minute to go. Harris wants to call timeout and slow this one down. There will be a discrepancy, the shot clock to the game clock, but still a chance for American to set up another play.
Bucknell got a little bit away from the side to side, inside, outside. They've gone a lot of one-on-one the last couple possessions. Turner's hit some big shots, but then they've taken some quick shots. And if American doesn't have to guard you, they have enough scoring power at the other end that they started to come back because they had their legs and made shots. But you got to make them work on that defensive end of the floor, I think.
Tonight's game brought to you by Fairfield. There's a reason why you come here with every visit. We embrace our customers like family. We're the name you've trusted for over 33 years. Fairfield isn't just any dealership, we're the area's most trusted dealership. Fairfield, for fantastic deals, you're going to love us. 48.9 seconds to go on the game clock, and there's 23 to shoot for American. No inbound from just in front of the Bucknell bench.
Watch something backdoor. out of this reversal. Bucknell's overplaying hard.
Nelson. Down on 10 to shoot.
Well, that's good defense by Turner. You like to see that out of a freshman.
Here's Harris driving in on Newman. Swing it to the corner. Now an open look inside, off the glass and in. Uncontested for Matt Rogers.
Swing, swing, drive. Swing, swing, drive. Now Bucknell will try to do the same thing, and they'll try to come back and do something going at the basket and get the last shot of the half.
They'll bring Walter Ellis back off the bench out of this timeout. We'll see who he swaps for. It'll be Josh Ado.
You know, a lot of folks will say, you know, with these timeouts at these half, but, you know, you always use these as game situations, sort of like these become important going into halftime. Kids dauber, how they feel, and these are a great opportunity for each coach to run things.
You're not taking it with you into the break. Why not use them? And consider a week from now, you're looking at tournament play where possessions in the final 21 seconds of a half could be critical to continuing your season. Yeah. So absolutely take these timeouts, run something, see how the players respond. And you have had so few teaching moments in a season like this in game activity.
That's really true. Yeah,
you know, absolutely use these timeouts.
They probably have a pocket full of plays that they haven't even gotten to. So you use as many as you can. I'm not sure I always like them holding.
Here's Rice to Andrew Funk. Funk into the lane, off the glass, bucket and the foul. 35-34 American with 5.4 seconds to go. And it's Andrew Funk to the free throw line. Another possession for the Eagles. You'll see a hard drive here by Funk.
Look at that, though. It's so amazing how many of these kids are getting to their right hand to finish at the basket without pushing them back. And Andrew's just doing a great job, and they're giving it to him, and he's taking it to the basket strong.
91% from the line during the season. He hits that to tie it up. Here's Becton off the glass at the buzzer, and that'll close out the first half. 35-all. Bucknell led for the majority of the first half. American with the run in the final 2.5 minutes, and then the Bison on a bucket and one by Andrew Funk just before the buzzer. We're all square. 35 apiece at the break. Stick around halftime. We'll take a look at stats. We'll look around what's coming up for Bucknell and American. That and much, much more. This is Bucknell basketball, courtesy of Learfield IMG College on MyTV.
We are at halftime of tonight's basketball game. I'm Bob Ide from WQMY Sports. Joining me right now, Bucknell head football coach Dave Cicchini. And Dave, you're scheduled to play football March 13th. Your team hasn't been on the field, since November of 2019. So are you getting excited about being back on the field, or you still in a mode where we don't know if it's really going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, we're chomping at the bit. We're really excited. You know, we got some walkthroughs and some meetings, and we've been in the weight room, in throughout the end of January and into early February. But right now we're on a pause. Our players are ready to go. And in the fall, we didn't have a season, obviously, which is a big disappointment. We were able to do some practices, so we did get out there, and we were able to safely get about 14 practices in. A little bit of live scrimmaging, things like that. So we've been able to do a little bit, but yeah, anytime you go this long without playing a football game, it's really frustrating. And hopefully we'll be able to get out there and get ready for this game on the 13th.
Yeah, March 13th, you mentioned, is the first game. So let's talk about 2019. When you took over, you had 3 big wins that year, all in Patriot League. You finished 3rd place in the Patriot League. Is it hard to say we can build off of that so many months later, or what do you have coming back too?
Yeah, first of all, I do. I think we've got a lot of improvement that we can make, and we do have an awful lot of players that are returning for their senior year, which is, gosh, we're dying to get them a season here this spring. So we're very experienced. We did learn a lot. We took our lumps early in 2019. Our first season as new coaching staff, our players bought into our new philosophy, hung in there through some adversity, and the wins started piling up. We hit our league schedule. We started playing some of our best football. Then we got banged up a little bit at the very end, and unfortunately had a game. We were sitting there. We went from 0-5 after 5 weeks of the season to playing our last game against Fordham. And if we beat Fordham and Holy Cross loses that week, we're going to be co-champs of the Patriot League. So we really hung in there until the very end, and unfortunately, we just weren't able to take that last step. So we're excited. There is a lot to build on. You're right; it's a long time. Going back to November of 2019 when we did play our last game. But the excitement is there. I think we've been able to build the best we can. Again, everything's relative. It's us versus the rest of the Patriot League. Nobody's happy with where they're at right now. It's just how are we doing through all of this adversity compared to all of our opponents.
Is this the time when you play 4 or 5 games, you throw in some wrinkles, see what might stick, so when you do hopefully come back in the fall and play a full season, something works out there, or you go back to what works in 2019?
Well, a little bit of both. I mean, you change, you naturally evolve, particularly as a second season on offense and defense. Our players are a little bit more comfortable with our schemes, and so you can put in more wrinkles and not have a drop in terms of your level of execution. So we will be changing some things. I mean, I think it's the inevitable in the college football game. One of the things that makes it great is it continues to evolve, and our offense and our defense are going to have little things, not giant changes, but little things here and there that we'll continue to do. I mean, we're going to be playing for a championship. It doesn't matter if it's a 4-game or a 5-game regular season, or if it's an 11 or a 12-game regular season. Players are taking the field to win that game week in and week out, and bring home that trophy, and hopefully get a berth to the FCS playoffs. And I mean, I'll take what I can get. We would love to have had our seniors go out with an opportunity to play more football games than we currently have, but it's something, and we're going to cling to that. And we don't know what adversity remains this spring with COVID and delays or cancellations or having to reschedule it. We'll take those. Jump over those hurdles as they come. But, I just want, I feel so, such a bond with this current group of seniors, and to see all the hard work that they put in, with no guarantee that they're going to have a season. You just root so hard just to give them an opportunity to go out there and finish their career on a high note.
Bucknell head football coach Dave Cicchini joining us here at halftime. When we come back, we'll have more basketball on my TV, WQMY.
It's 35-all as we make our way towards the second half here at Stoika Pavilion. Bucknell and American. The Bison come in having won 4 straight, all against Lehigh, finally back on the court after nearly a month off. And you see a little bit of rust out there. You know you're not playing with some of your big players, your star players like a John Meeks or Andre Screen. That being said, you're going to find scoring elsewhere. Deuce Turner leads all scorers today with 10 points. Stacey Beckton Jr. with 7 to pace American. Any surprise for you from the first half?
Well, I don't think surprise. I think what it did was play out the way we were talking. Somebody was going to step up. It was Turner for Bucknell. I think it was Nelson for American, the young kid that for them hit a couple threes. So I think it's going to go back, though, to Newman and to Rice are going to have second halves where Rice gets back to being aggressive. Newman, they keep throwing the ball to, because when he gets the ball inside, good things happen to the perimeter. Vice versa, the ball goes through Harris, an American, so he's going to have the ball in his hands. I think Alexander got a little bit of foul trouble, so it'll be interesting to see how him and Newman go at it in the second half, because I think that's going to be really important. But I'll go back to what I said. I think the perimeter game with the switching and the driving, whoever's going to attack the basket more and harder is going to come out on top.
Take a look back at some of the highlights from the first half. There's some big plays along the way. Bucknell went 4 of 12 from three-point range, and that plays part for the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. You see the highlights here, and it's a lot to the basket, a lot of points in the paint. We'll get outside. We'll get those three-pointers in from Deuce Turner, but there's a lot of penetration into the lane from both sides here, and at times, for me, a lot of easier looks than you would anticipate.
Oh, no doubt. You want to get closer to the basket. I mean, there's a reason why you have a bigger percentage when you're closer to the basket. What it will do possibly as the game goes along, I'm sure American and Bucknell both talked about penetration at halftime. And if they tighten up a little bit and keep people at bay, it's going to come down to shooting the basketball from the perimeter. But you're not going to change who you are at halftime. You're going to go out and just get better at who you are.
Bucknell in the first half, 4 of 12 from three-point range. That is 12 pounds of coffee. 3 pounds of coffee donated by Duncan to the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank for every three-pointer made here today. We're off to, what I would call a slow start. 4 for 12 from three-point range, so 12 pounds of coffee, but there's still 20 minutes of basketball left to go and plenty of shots from outside to help out our friends at the Central PA Food Bank. It's 35 apiece, Bucknell and American. The second half is coming up on MyTV. We're all even at the half, 35 apiece. You see some numbers from the first half of play. Bucknell, 46% from the floor. Rebounding advantage goes to American. Turnovers, pretty even so far. Free throws, fairly even and consistent with season-long numbers. And the one thing you don't see there, we talked about right before the break, points in the paint. It's Bucknell 14, 12 for American. A lot of the offense coming from inside, more than maybe you would have anticipated, but consider also some of the size that may not exist or at least isn't there between these two teams.
Well, there's just not a whole lot to clog up the lane, to be honest. Bucknell, as far as shot blocker, I mean, Paul Newman would be the closest one to that, and he's a big, strong guy, but without a couple guys. And American doesn't, that's not the way they play. Alexander's the one inside guy. So I imagine there's going to be penetration on both ends of the floor. The game, again, being played after penetration, you see a lot of balls being kicked back out to three. So they both feel very good in their three-point shooting, and that's a strength of both ball clubs. So I expect it to heat up a little bit here in the second half. Bucknell getting their game legs under them after being off for a while. And, American the other night, as we mentioned, it was a one-point game with Loyola. They ended up in the second half fading a little bit in that ball game, but they were right there. So this ought to be a heck of a half. I was excited when it started and even more excited now that it's tied at half.
You mentioned getting your game legs under you. In a season like this with the layoffs that these teams around the country are really having, can you ever have those legs underneath you, do you think? Or is it as soon as you get them, you have it as long as you possibly can?
I guess game legs in a terminology, is something that comes not only as it's your wind and your cardio and all those kind of things, but I think it's also about playing somebody that's not playing you every day, playing the other team. Somebody jumps a passing lane, somebody's quicker than you, somebody gets up in your face. So I think it's the whole thing. Instead of game legs, I guess we could say game conditions.
American with the basketball to start the second half. Harris for three, no good. And the rebound to Paul Newman. Here's Deuce Turner on the floor to start the second half with Newman, Funk, Rice, and Ellis. Shot doesn't fall. Newman's there for the putback, though.
He really sealed them. After that miss, he really sealed the lane. And that's what he can do. That's what Paul Newman can do. He's strong.
5 points, 5 rebounds for Newman. We get contact away from the ball here. Get it on Deuce Turner, his first team first here in the half. Turner led all scorers in the first half of play, was 4 for 8 from the floor, including 2 out of 3 in three-point range. 10 points, 2 boards, and 14 minutes of play for the freshman. Jumper from outside, good for 3. And that pushes American back in front by 1, 38-37. Lebarski with the triple. Right side, Rice. Drives left hand, stops, swings it to Ellis. Ellis to Newman inside, one-on-one. Ellis trying to find that footing, didn't quite have it. Shot's no good, and the rebound, Lebarski. It looked uncomfortable for Newman there, trying to figure out which foot, which way to go.
Well, that lefty is a little unorthodox, but you saw what American is trying to do at Rice. They're really trying to plug the middle and not give him penetration. And what it's allowing Paul Newman to be able to get open in the paint.
Beckton drives baseline. That forces a switch defensively. Puts Xander Rice on Alexander. They go to Alexander inside, and he's got the basket.
And there again, there's a there's Rice switching. He ends up on Alexander. That's hard to play, and you gotta appreciate Harris as a scorer being able to see that. So I'm sure Coach Brennan's very happy to see that happen.
Here's Ellis to the hoop, draws the foul. Goes left hand off the left side, just trying to knife his way through the defense. Did, but contact at the last second. Sends Ellis to the free throw line, where he's an 86% shooter.
Well, they have to be very happy that Ellis takes the ball to the hole. He's a three-point shooter. He sometimes settles for that. And for him to go to the basket, it's the kind of thing I was saying at the beginning of this game, that seeing your guys do things that they maybe don't normally do with other folks in the game, that bodes well for Bucknell if Walter's going to take the ball to the hole, because he certainly can shoot the ball from the perimeter. It's the same thing. We found another score. We knew Turner could score a little bit, but he has to have a ton of confidence today, starting the second half, because of some things, and he's that guy that's going to be with them as well when they get Meeks back.
2 for 2 at the line there. Nearly a steal by Ellis. Bison down by 1, 40-39. Nelson, left, then top of the key. Becton, around it goes. Lubarski, pass tipped away, but Bucknell lost it. Fortunately, Alexander couldn't find it either. He slaps the ball out of play, and the Bison will get it back.
Well, just like the starter game, Americans trying to establish Alexander inside. Some bad entry passes for them, and down at the other end, they're trying to do the same thing with Paul Newman.
Left corner for 3, and it's good.
Amazing.
Walter Ellis going to heat up.
Yeah, and that all comes from what he did it last time down the floor, driving the basketball. That gives you that confidence. You see the ball go through the basket, and we know he can shoot the ball from the perimeter.
It's our first Duncan 3 of this second half. Here's Harris for 2 just inside the arc. Shot rims out, no good. And the rebound to Ellis. Back the other way, Bucknell. Turner, little crossover, step back. Toes were on the line. They're going to get a foul here. They'll call Lubarski with the foul. Let's see if they give him 3.
Yeah, I think they did. We got that.
3 shots upcoming here.
Let's see that.
Step back.
Ooh. Yep, they called it at the top.
Deuce Turner at the free throw line. 86% this season for the freshman. 17 minutes, 8 seconds remaining. First is good, second rattles around, no. And he'll get one more.
I think that's only their second miss. Is it from their free throw line?
10 out of 12
they
so far.
They really shoot the ball. You can't put them on the line.
Third shot, good.
Good answer to Americans burst. Bucknell come back and take a 4-point lead after falling down 3. Some guys made some real hard, definitive plays.
Alexander to Lubarski, cuts his way in. The basketball was hung up on his chest. His shot just flies up, and Bucknell back the other way. Turner, 1 on 3, scoops it off the glass, no. Rebound O'Neal. 4th board for O'Neal. He'll take it down the floor, leave for Harris. Harris steps in, steps back. Left side to Nelson. Nelson, now Alexander. Off to Ben Lubarski. All 5 have gotten a handle on it on this possession. Work it inside. Alexander whips that hook up left hand. It worked.
It's funny looking, but he's used to it, and he scores off of it. Comes from the hip, doesn't it?
That is a 12-6 curve in my world. 44-42. There's a pass tipped out of play. It will stay with the Bison. We'll get a couple of changes. Miles Latimer on for Bucknell. He'll take the place of Deuce Turner.
Yeah, good look inside.
Just, it starts in the pocket for Josh Alexander, but it worked.
Well, they have a lot of confidence, obviously, in him because he's there.
Shot for 3.
Little quick. Little quick.
Rebound into the hands of Smalls. Colin Smalls, first rebound of the game. Inlet pass, looking for O'Neal. Kick it outside, Rogers for 3. Got it.
Well, he had a big first half. He played a lot for them. I didn't know he could do that, but obviously he can. And he played well in the first half. I saw when he was coming to the bench, and Latimer played well, and Rogers for American.
3 for 3 from the floor for Matt Rogers, 8 points. Shot from Rice, no. Back the other way. Harris is off the mark. The rebound to Funk. He'll bring it back the other way. Andrew Funk stops. Had Newman streaking to the hoop, but couldn't pull the trigger on that pass. Now Newman loses it. O'Neal comes away with it. 1-point lead for American. Quick pass through the defense. Harris spins it, no. Rebound put back there for 2.
I think that was Rogers again, wasn't it?
It was.
Running the floor. A kid runs the floor pretty well. He got good size.
47-44 the run. 7-0 run now for the Eagles. Andrew Funk off the Newman pick. Takes it to the hoop. Players all around. No foul. It will stay with Bucknell out of this timeout. 47-44. Just under 15 to go here in regulation. The Bison trail American. Learfield College basketball presenting the Bison here today on My TV. It's a 7-0 run for American. They're back in front, 47-44. Geisinger is proud to be the official sports medicine and orthopedics provider of the Bucknell Bison. It's part of our commitment to more than 40 university and high school athletic programs across Pennsylvania in the communities that we serve. Schedule an appointment at geisinger.org/sports. Today's game also brought to you by Fairfield. There's a reason why you come here. With every visit, we embrace our customers like family. We're the name you've trusted for over 33 years. Fairfield isn't just any dealership, we're the area's most trusted dealership. Fairfield, for fantastic deals, you're gonna love us. I'm Adam Marco, the coach Pat Flannery alongside me here today. The Bison down 47-44 with 14:41 left in regulation. It's been a 7-0 run by American after a 6-0 run by Bucknell. Let's see if the Bison, with possession of the basketball, can regain some momentum and control. Xander Rice to inbound to the right of his own hoop. Finds Andrew Funk. Funk, bounce pass to Rice. Back to Funk. Jake Vanderheiden in for Paul Newman out of this break. The shot off the front side of the rim, and Smalls with the rebound.
They like going to that throwback three off of a timeout from the triangle. And it's been there a couple times. They just got to knock it down.
Smalls. Hard dribble, goes left O'Neal. Now Rogers, back out O'Neal on the baseline. Hung up on his hip, works it back out. 8 to shoot for American. Smalls to O'Neal in the corner for 3. Over top of the rim, no good. Good box out by Latimer. Bison are back the other direction. Funk to Latimer. Draws Becton on defense. Around we go. Rice. Vanderheiden trying to set up that pick. Back out. Ooh. Vanderheiden launches a 3. Back iron no good. And a fight for the rebound between two blue jerseys.
Living with that 3 a little bit too much. A little 3 happy. But they'll just start getting back to the hole. Just don't have that pure post presence.
Here's Rogers to the hoop. The ball nearly taken away. It wasn't. And Matt Rogers continues a strong performance. Perfect on the floor. Bucknell to answer. O'Neal rejects Xander Rice. 44 for Bucknell, 49 for American. A 5-point edge, make that a 9-0 run. And Harris comes back in. Deuce Turner, a late adjustment as well for Bucknell, perhaps to counter. Xander Rice will go to the bench, and Turner takes over to inbound the ball.
Both teams playing 10, 11 guys regularly, and we have some Bucknell guys out, but playing a lot of guys.
Here's Latimer to Vanderheiden. Andrew Funk. It's been really quiet. Good no-look pass, shot rejected, and a foul called. Latimer was taking it to the hoop, and it's O'Neal going to pick up the foul. Check out the replay here. It's a lot of ball.
Good
some
challenge.
hand in there.
Good challenge. Good challenge. Can't argue with that one on either end.
Second foul called against Johnny O'Neal, and with that, he'll head to the bench. Check that, just to the bench for a conversation, not actually out of the game.
I'm sure Coach Brennan is saying to him, buddy, we love what you're doing there, Johnny, just a little bit quicker. If you could just see that a little bit quicker, you won't get that foul.
Latimer hits.
Latimer taking the ball strong. You gotta, again, they're the things you're looking for. Looking for who can play that when it's a grind game.
Snaps the 9-0 run. Bison back within 3. Inlet pass for O'Neal underneath the hoop. Latimer's all over him with no foul called, and Miles will run it back the other way. Look through the lane, pass intended for Vanderheiden, tipped away by Colin Smalls, a mismatch favoring Bucknell, but just a little too strong and not quite where Vanderheiden needed it to be.
Yeah, and again, you're looking for good things. There's a good hustle play after a turnover, and that's just good. That's good basketball on both ends.
Vanderheiden around to Funk, off to Latimer. Latimer pops the three.
Wow.
No. Rebound tip. Vanderheiden to himself, off to Turner. Jump stop into lane. Contact, no call. Ball tipped out of play. Bucknell is going to catch a massive break here. They had given it back off the missed shot, and American just fighting themselves for the ball.
Yeah, the guards get the guards get themselves in a position where they're going to go up with it no matter who's there, and you just got to kick that ball out. You're just not going to get it over top of people.
Inlet Vanderheiden wants another look for three, and he's got it this time. Duncan three for Jake Vanderheiden.
There's the confidence that Coach Davis has in his kids that shoot the three. They shoot it regularly. They shoot it often. It's a group that is skilled enough, and boy, they can really hurt you when they're in that three-point area.
Turnaround jumper is up and in. Ben Lebarski with the bucket. Bucknell tied the game. They were down by 5, forced their way even at 49s. Now it's American by 2. Under 12 to go. Turner to Vanderheiden, guarded by Alexander. Works the ball low, then we'll shoot the 2, foot on the line.
Patience.
About a half step too close for another 3 there.
When he rises, he just looks like he's going to make everything he shoots. He just has such a pure stroke.
51 apiece. Harris launches the 3.
Oh.
Bucket and 1.
And there again, Adam, as folks are watching the game, who ended up fouling?
Harris hits the 3, knockdown, will be at the free throw line when we come back from this timeout on the floor. 54-51, 11 and a half or so to go here in regulation. Bucknell taking on American, courtesy of Learfield IMG College on MyTV. We'd like to take a moment to thank our local healthcare heroes featured in our Healthcare Heroes Corner here at Stoica Pavilion. We also want to thank those healthcare heroes around the world for being on the front line during this pandemic. We couldn't be here doing what we do without these men and women. 54-51. 11:31 to go here in regulation. Coming up tomorrow, 4 o'clock, the Bison run it back on the road at American. And then next weekend, we start into the Patriot League tournament. Now, all 10 teams are slated to make it, a change in how they were going to do it from 8 teams to 10. And really, when you look at schedules, and some teams were able to play 7 games, and some have played 16 games, ultimately giving everyone that opportunity to get one more crack at it, maybe one more upset along the way. I love the change by the Patriot League. It's all day today, then again, aren't we all?
Yeah, it is. Kids deserve to play. They deserve to be in school. It's not, anybody's their fault in any way, but it's trying to keep them healthy to be able to play a game and to learn. Can you imagine the story these kids are going to tell their kids? Like nothing anybody could ever have gone through.
55-51, you see the points in the paint. It was 15-14 Bucknell at the half. Ultimately how American built their 9-0 run was working it inside. Shot tipped out of play. Smalls leaps and knocks it away from Andrew Funk. 4-point advantage, just over 11 to go here in this half. A couple of substitutions as Smalls and Alexander out. O'Neal and Rogers back in, and they've gotten good minutes and good points off the bench from those two. Funk loses the handle. Followay is short of everything and out of play.
Clock down, not real confident in what they were doing, how to get a shot up, and I think Andrew Funk has shown how steady a player he is. The ball goes into his hands a lot. They have confidence in him.
Here's Rogers. Leaves it for Lebarski, and Lebarski caught a heel on the sideline.
Wow.
I thought they could have called Rogers with a little bit of a step initially, but maybe they didn't, and they somehow microscopically see that.
Oh, I'm so happy I'm up here, buddy.
Was that a point where you would have just lost it?
Oh, come on, buddy. Come on.
It's in front of your own bench to boot.
Oh, I would. Thank goodness, Coach Brennan and Coach Davis.
Is that maybe the one advantage of the mask? They can't tell what you're saying underneath your breath
Yeah,
behind
that
the
might
mask?
be it. I mean, there's a lot of guys that do that, have done the mask long before them, where they hold their hands in front of their mouth, and they're saying a lot of things. Great move, Turner. Really, again, nose for the ball, nose for the basket.
5 of 11 from the floor for Deuce Turner, and a game-high 14 points. O'Neal to Becton, looking for Rogers, guarded by Paul Newman. Will pivot around, high ball fake, bump off Newman, fall away, in and out, no good. The rebound tipped right into the hands of Newman. Bison have a 3-on-2 break the other way. Ellis from the left corner for 3, got it!
Spot up 3. He runs that floor and gets to that spot as quick as anybody. When they get him the ball and his feet are set, he's lights out. It's when he shoots the ball a little quick is when he struggles a little bit.
It's a 5-0 run out of that last time out. 56-55, Bison. Harris held in check quite a bit here today. Here's a shot for 3, a laser from Becton, and he's got it for the advantage.
Good ball game, Adam. Good ball game. They're back and forth. Certainly nobody's playing tight. They're not bashful.
10 points now for Becton Jr. Ellis bounce into Newman, and there's contact inside. Rogers doesn't like the call, pleading his case to no one listening.
Oh, baby.
His first, team's 4th. Miles Latimer is in, Andrew Funk back to the side. Connor Nelson in, Lubarski to the bench for the Eagles. 58-56, just over 9 remaining here in the game. Inlet goes to Newman, who hands it off to Deuce Turner. Turner to Xander Rice. Rice with the dribble, pull up at the foul line. Nobody there for the rebound, and it's tipped out last touch by Bucknell. Long rebound off the back iron. And the Bison will give up possession here. Becton Jr. brings it down the floor. Harris on the right side, guarded by Ellis. Get it back. Just 8 points, averaging 20.6 this season. Harris's shot no good. The rebound is loose. Xander Rice walked right over it, left it on the floor for Paul Newman to pick up.
Reverse, reverse, reverse.
Here's Rice, jump into the lane, off the glass, bucket, and the foul. Ties it up at 58, and the free throw for the lead.
Exactly where he started. Just where Rice started, taking the ball to the basket.
O'Neal picks up the foul, and he'll have to head back to the bench. You like the game of this youngster, Johnny O'Neal. 6'9", 200-pound freshman. You're gonna need more size on that frame to avoid things like that, to be able to take that contact, not move, and not forced to shuffle by the drawing of the foul, by drawing that contact into the body.
Well, it's a great point, and it's certainly something that he has to learn to do. And Rice, a year older, stronger finish, and there you got a freshman that he gets into his body. But they're really high on him, and you can see why. He's a long kid, and coach is trying to rotate and get some time and some rest for Alexander. Small has given him some good times. It doesn't show up on the box score, but he's a kid that doesn't really care if he scores. He gets the ball to people. He's a good defender, and he's given Americans some good minutes.
It's Harris to the free throw line. That foul against O'Neal was his 4th. The only one in foul trouble ultimately. O'Neal, Jake Vanderheiden has 3 for Bucknell. Shot is up and good. 60-58, just over 8 minutes to go.
I think Lubarski and certainly Alexander and Harris, they're the guys they got to keep out of any kind of foul trouble.
Andrew Funk back in on that last foul. Loses the ball on his hip. Will reset to Deuce Turner. Again, the Bison playing today without John Meeks on senior day. There's a foul against Paul Newman, clearing out some space. 60-58, just under 8 minutes now left, and the stoppage in play. We'll take a quick breather as well. Bison down by 2 to the Eagles. Stick with us here. Bucknell basketball presented by Learfield IMG College on MyTV. Back at Soika Pavilion, this is some of the work being done during halftime. Everything is scoured when the players leave the floor, making sure that everybody is safe when they return. It is such a difficult time around the world, and to have the luxury of college basketball, you see just a little bit of the work being put in. Thanks to our friends at Geisinger. They're proud to be an official sports medicine and orthopedics provider of the Bucknell Bison, part of the community commitment. More than 40 university and high school athletic programs across Pennsylvania in the areas that they serve. Schedule your appointment at geisinger.org/sports. It'll be American with the basketball, 60-58, 7:57 remaining in regulation. We come out of this timeout. Bucknell with Deuce Turner, Xander Rice, Walter Ellis, Andrew Funk, and Paul Newman on the floor. American counters with Connor Nelson, Jameer Harris, Josh Alexander, Colin Smalls, and Stacy Beckton Jr. Harris with the basketball and the lead. He can slow it down a moment, try to create some space. Little switch, but good switch back by the Bison.
Very good job. That's a picture book.
Harris, here's the switch again. He loses the ball, but
That's
because
not,
of a touch foul.
Yeah. Well, you want to turn him back, and I give him credit for being so aggressive out there, but there's no need to reach. What you're trying to do is keep the guard on the guard, and you can do that with your body. You don't need to reach with your hands.
Fouls on Newman, that's his third. Harris off to Alexander, fakes the pass, leave it for Beckton. Switch again. It's Beckton driving in over top of Paul Newman for 2.
Yeah, he took Xander Rice to the hole there. He just couldn't stay with him. Long stretch. A little more experience than O'Neal.
Kick it outside. Ellis looked at the 3, had room, didn't take it. Leave it for Funk, loses.
Patience.
Defender, shot's no good. The rebound swatted into the hands of Xander Rice, but he can't pick it up. Nelson does, and they're gonna get Xander Rice with the foul. Be the third on Rice.
No,
No?
it looks like they were calling flop. A warning. Not sure what that was. That's usually the signal when they do that. I guess he has to get a couple of them in a game.
Got to get that quota.
It looks like it. It looks like it.
All right.
I'm not sure.
No foul put on the board,
No.
so scratch that.
No.
Here's Harris. Looking to post up Alexander, instead goes back around. Nelson. Now in to Smalls, down in the post. Some guards down in the paint. There's a shot for 3, good from Harris.
Kick out to Small. Again, Small wasn't trying to do anything with it except to be able to set Harris up, and he was looking for him the whole time.
65-58.
Big bucket here.
Bison need an answer. Don't need a 3, they just need a response. We'll wave off the shot. The foul is on the floor.
Not quite 1-1 yet. Both teams are going to be there soon, though, 6 and 5. But that's, again, great response, Adam, because of taking the ball to the hole and not just settling for a wide open, for an open threes are great, but they just didn't settle there. He took the ball to the basket.
Here's Funk. To Deuce Turner. Turner looking for somewhere to pass it to and catches a massive break. He wanted Andrew Funk on that right corner, on the wing, but Funk was in the paint with him. And American obliges with a foul. That's their 7th as a team, and send Deuce Turner to the line for 1-1.
Keep an eye on this now. 6 minutes left, and Americans already in the 1-1. So let's see how aggressive these guards will be against them, because they sure can shoot the ball from the free throw line.
First shot is up and good. The Bison from the line, 14 of 17 in this game. Keep pushing the issue, drawing the fouls.
Yep.
Second shot for Turner's no good. That said, you got to hit him. You
Yep.
got to make him. 6-point game, 65-59, just about 6 to go. Rogers to Becton. High ball fake draws the double team. Skip pass over the defense is too high. Trying to find Connor Nelson, who stands at 6'6", and you miss him a little too tall at 6'6".
Good defense, forced him to make a skip pass, make a play.
Here's Rice. Off to Turner. Shot was blocked, and a foul called. They're going to get Becton with the foul, and Deuce Turner's back to the line for 3 more.
Yeah, and a lot of that happens when you're making shots, Adam. The American kids now are pushing out, and they're trying to get a piece of everything. I'm not sure that they're certainly not smart plays, but because a few have gone down, they're really trying to get out there on the 3-point shooter. And what you said, Adam, very profane. You have to make them.
Yes.
Very profound.
Either one. I accept either one. It's only profane if they don't make them. He misses the first, gets the second. 65-60. Third, good.
So 2 of 3. So he got him. He maybe didn't get him real hard.
Right.
That's the way you got to look at him.
5 for 8 from the line. Bucknell, 16 of 21.
Minute 40 to the 4-minute mark. A couple big possessions here. This is where you got to go to your folks. You got to go to your folks that have done it for you. If you're gonna.
Loose ball tipped away from O'Neal, but it's saved by Harris. He'll drive in, right hand into the defense, off the bottom of the hoop, and the ball into the hands of Andrew Funk. Good break there for Bucknell. Could have been any number of opportunities for a foul. Here's Funk, foot on the line, and he's got it.
Good patience. Who stepped up? Andrew Funk. Harris took the ball at a hole, didn't finish. Funk comes down, so 2 of their stars just put big marks on this ball game.
It's been an off afternoon for Andrew Funk. He's at 7 points now, but he's 0 for 5 from 3-point range and 3 for 12 from the floor. Nelson drives in, leans into that foul, and he'll head to the line for a couple. Paul Newman to pick up the contact. That's his 4th. It'll force Newman back to the bench and Jake Vanderheiden, who has 3 fouls, to come back in. There's not a lot of size for Bucknell with John Meeks and Andre Screen out due to COVID protocol.
Bucknell's been very, very fortunate today. I mean, Harris has 13, what does he have, 13 points?
13,
but
yeah.
3 for 15 from the floor. And some have been in and out, some have been quick shots, but you can tell that he has the freedom to take it, and the ball's going to be in his hands.
Nelson hits.
They got to feel fortunate. Lead. Up 4 with that kind of a percentage of your best player.
Xander Rice, guarded by Harris. Looks for Ellis. Has Vanderheiden posting up. Ellis is going to shoot off the rim, no good. The rebound, only one home, is Ben Lebarski. 4:29 to go, 67-63.
They got an interesting lineup, American. You just mentioned Lebarski. That's Nelson in there, but Lebarski's the guy that really has played well for them today, and he hasn't been off the bench. He hasn't been off the bench. There's an experienced player in Becton, who's a senior, taking Turner, who's a great scorer. He just took him to the hole. This is a young kid, Turner, probably not used to guarding that size.
And Deuce, really leaning towards the perimeter, allowed that back door wide open, able to just spin down the baseline. Shot's good for Becton, completes the 3-point play. And the advantage is 7 with just over 4 minutes to go. American in front of Bucknell. Bison trying to win their 5th consecutive game after losing 4 in a row to start the year. Drive, then the kick out. Ellis for 3, got it. A Duncan 3 for Walter Ellis.
Penetration. These kids can shoot on the perimeter when their feet are set. I don't know how else to say it. Keep penetrating and keep kicking. Don't try to finish everything at the rim. Big 3.
Bison now 8 of 22 from 3-point range. Ball loose, right into the hands of Vanderheiden, and will throw it blindly up the floor to Ellis, who lost it. Go one-on-one on the floor fight with Harris.
What?
And they're going to call the foul here against Walter Ellis.
Wow.
Get help from his teammates and Harris ultimately to pick him up off the floor. And Ellis cannot believe he's going to pick up the personal foul here. 70-66. Take a break. Timeout. The Bison down by 4 with 3 minutes, 27 seconds to go. Bucknell trails on Learfield IMG College, courtesy of MyTV. (70-66). Bucknell trailing American, and the Eagles have the basketball out of this timeout. There's a reason why you come here. With every visit, we embrace our customers like family. We're the name you've trusted for over 33 years. Fairfield isn't just any dealership, we're the area's most trusted dealership. Fairfield, for fantastic deals, you're going to love us. Bison trail it by 4, 70-66. Out of this timeout, it will be Americans basketball. Coach, you stepped away from the floor a few years back, and you just stepped away from Bucknell retiring as of yesterday. I wish you nothing but the best of luck and success. Congratulations. What is up next as you step away from the last couple of years working with Bucknell in a fundraising capacity?
Well, it's been absolutely wonderful. The leadership at the university and the colleagues, I've really enjoyed it. I made the right time. It was good for me when I did, and I've enjoyed it. Talking about going forward, a lot of excitement, a lot of energy going forward. We're really looking forward to our next chapter and what that may be. We shall see, but it's been wonderful.
You mentioned to me, we were talking before the game about, you just had the chance to check out a new business development center that they've got here on campus, and all these years of putting in time and fundraising and finally you see those fruits of your labors and the efforts you're putting forward. That has to mean a lot. You've been through mentoring so many players. This is a different way to help out this university that's been so near and dear to your heart.
The relationships, Adam, like you do. It's relationships. All these relationships with people have been great, and we'll always be Bison. We'll always be here, and I can't sit here and not root hard for the Orange.
American with the basketball. Shot is short. Rebound goes to Bucknell right at the end of the shot clock.
Yeah, Harris has really struggled today for being their guy. That's a big miss.
Here's Funk, baseline ball tipped out of his hands by Harris. 2:28 left. From friends at Learfield, from your friends here at MyTV, we wish you nothing but success and happiness in wherever the road takes you next.
Thanks, Adam. I really appreciate it. It's wonderful. I've been very blessed.
Here's Xander Rice. Ball tipped away from Rice, and there's a foul called. I don't think I've heard the last of you. I'm just throwing that out there.
I hope not. Are they doing a shooting foul here, or?
Conversation on the floor. Nathan Davis wants the shots.
Sure.
And
they're giving him 2.
They will get 2.
2 shots.
Xander Rice to the free throw line. Rice just over 81% from the free throw line this season. First shot, no good. If I say the percentage, he misses. That's how it works.
Yeah.
2:25 left. 70-66. Second shot, see, you didn't say it. Look what happened.
Boy. All right, 2 minutes. We got a ball game here.
3-point advantage for American.
No better way to spend a Saturday than on the court.
Alexander pivots around. Paul Newman's back in with 4 fouls. Off to Harris. Harris drives in with the left hand. Little contact. Swatted back into play. Great effort by Ellis. It's Deuce Turner the other direction. Turner had Funk open for 3. It would have been a difficult skip over the defense on that pass. Andrew Funk stops. Goes right side, Turner. 15 to shoot. Stops, loses the defender, and the jumper's good.
Gamer.
19 in the game for Deuce Turner. That's a game high, and a timeout taken here by Mike Brennan. 70-69 with 1:39 to go. Full timeout on the floor. We're back in just a moment. Learfield College basketball here on MyTV. Bucknell down by 1, 70-69. 1:39 left in regulation. Geisinger is proud to be the official sports medicine and orthopedics provider of the Bucknell Bison. It's part of our commitment to more than 40 university and high school programs across PA in the communities that we serve. Schedule your appointment at geisinger.org/sports.
So here's two teams trying to figure out how to win. We said Bucknell had a 4-game winning streak, but they did it without John Meeks. Americans 2-5. You mentioned the triple overtime, the 1-point game. So this minute and 39, Harris is really struggling. Meeks is on the floor. So everybody out there, pick out somebody who's going to be the hero today. And very well could be a Rice, very well could be a Nelson, but somebody's going to have to step up for one of these teams in a minute and 30, and that's what makes the game so beautiful.
Out of that break, Deuce Turner, who has a game-high 19 points, to the bench. Rice, Latimer, Ellis, Funk, and Newman, the 5 out there for Bucknell.
That may be a defensive move, Adam. They wanted a little more size. Latimer has some size. Funk's a veteran. Ellis has been playing. I think maybe Ellis's height has bothered Harris, and they're feeling like that. I just don't want to see him get isolated.
Alexander looking back to a great move.
They just set him up. Whew. Yeah. They went right back to their horse.
And a timeout on the floor. Deuce Turner will come back in after this timeout taken by Nathan Davis. 72-69. As we play this final weekend of the regular season, and play is a loose term because a lot of these teams haven't been on the court much lately at all, like Bucknell, not since January 31st. Colgate atop the North, Lafayette atop the Central, and Navy at 5-0 leading the South. All of these teams will have the opportunity to play next weekend in the Patriot League tournament. It was going to be 8 teams, then they expand to 10 because of the discrepancy, really, of how much or how little teams have been able to play this season. There's a lot of non-conference out there. Colgate, Navy have been outstanding this year.
So Lafayette's only 3-1 in a division?
They are.
In the division. Okay, I see.
7-5 overall,
okay.
3-1 within the division.
Okay, I see. They're going by the division, not overall.
72-69.
Are they going for the 3 or going to get 2 here?
Rice pivots around, looks for Funk. Funk has a double team. Takes baseline to the hoop, swatted. Newman fighting for the rebound, still battling. Newman kick it outside with 7 to shoot. Deuce Turner, heavy pressure. Turner drives off the knee of Newman, and he'll boot it out of play. And it's Americans basketball with 60 seconds on the button left. Offense-defense change continues. Turner out, Latimer in.
Man, I like that Rogers. I'm not sure I could take him out of ball game at this point, but they certainly know them a lot better than I.
Gets the swat, then the fight for the basketball. And this play will go under review by the officials on the far side of the floor.
Looked like a pretty clear kick out.
I thought so.
Yeah.
But they are a little bit closer.
And I'm known not to see very well, so that's what they used to tell me anyway.
I'm known to see only what I'm looking for. So maybe we're not the best to tell you.
Yeah. We are a little ways up here.
You see the cutouts here, the fans, as it were, this season here at Stoika Pavilion. Thanks to each and every one of these fans who have supported the Bucknell basketball programs, the men and the women.
For years.
It has certainly not been the easiest season for anyone involved.
Well,
not the easiest year for anyone around the world.
Yeah, let's be honest about it, Adam. And I say honest. Let's be. Okay, let's see what happens here. I believe that's a clear kick out. Did they stay with it? Let's see.
Newman gives chase. Pass back, then Turner going back into Newman.
A little low on the feed. It was nice to see a feed. Yeah, he kicked it. What I was going to say is this place has been so good to so many people that this is a happening in Lewisburg. Folks, this is their night out, and they really, really miss this, and it's the best following in the conference. Bar none, not even close.
50 seconds to go, and Harris just slowing it down. 15 on the shot clock. 40 on the game clock. Beckton. Back to Harris. Now 6 to shoot. Left side. Nelson, fall away, will throw it up short, off the rim, rebound, Alexander. 27 seconds left, and the Bison will have to foul. Can ill afford to waste any more time. It was an opportunity for Bucknell, but that rebound too strong, and American can haul it in and head to the line.
So great defensive possession. You're forced them to take a 25-footer, and then you don't box out. That drives a coach crazy. But you got a young kid here on the line here who has at times struggled he's been in foul trouble a lot of the night. So be ready for anything. Is it going to be 3, or are you going to go 4 and need 2? There's still a lot of time.
O'Neal's first. Misses the front half of the one-on-one, and the rebound all the way to the backcourt. And now they'll foul Jameer Harris.
Boy, they're giving him every opportunity.
O'Neal had been 80% from the line, but misses the front half there, and the rebound just
first time I've seen
too much.
First time I've seen him play. I'm sorry to be a coach here, but it's the first time I've seen him play, and he just looks a little nervous to me for being a talented kid. He's missed some big ones today, and just doesn't seem to have a comfort level. But you can tell he's very talented. He's a freshman, and freshmen it's going to happen.
16 in the game for Harris. A second free throw. It's good.
So now you got to go 2. You got to get the ball to the rim.
Timeout taken by American. 74-69 with 20.9 seconds officially up on the board here at Soika Pavilion.
I said coming in, Adam, I wasn't sure. Obviously, we keep talking about Bucknell's players and all, but I wasn't sure about American coming in and who they were. I think Coach Brennan's got to feel good, whatever happens today, with their guys. For Harris to have the kind of game he has and for them to be able to play here, they got to look at the league and say, you know what, we could do something too. And certainly Bucknell feels that way.
You're down by 5, 20.9 seconds to go. Are you coming down first looking? You get at that 3?
Yeah, I want to get my head down and get to the rim and make these stripes make a call.
Okay.
Make them make a call. They're gonna call anything that goes to the basket.
Inbound to Xander Rice. Rice off to Turner. Turner will take it to the hoop. Finger roll off the glass.
That's too
and
easy.
in.
Yep, that's what you want to do. Now you can at least set yourself up to foul and give yourself a chance. If you shoot a 3, instead of taking it to the basket. Now you put yourself in a position where you're going to have to start, if you jack it. But it's going to be open. They don't want to give up a 3, but that's way too easy.
Down to a 3-point lead. 14.2 seconds remaining on the clock. For Deuce Turner, it's 21 in the game. That's tops from any player on the floor here today. 5 of 8 from the free throw line, 7 of 13 from the floor. Bucknell also getting 13 from Walter Ellis, 10 from Xander Rice. Couple of double-digit scores for American, and Lebarski with 10, Matt Rogers with 12. Stacey Beckton Jr. had been their leading scorer until this second half push. It's now 17 for Harris.
Who we fouling here, Adam?
Not Harris.
Yep, anybody but Harris. I think you got to try to funnel the ball to O'Neal.
The inbound gets to Harris, and that's who they'll have to foul.
Yep. Great execution on American's part. That's who they wanted the ball to go to, and he got it.
And for what it's worth, they did leave O'Neal a little loose on the near side.
Throw it to him.
Latimer was giving them that leeway to say, here's your guy.
I don't understand this in the game now. Here's where you make some free throws. If I'm the American, why you don't put some pressure and show full court pressure to get that ball in bounds below the foul line. You see so many teams that allow the ball to be sent up. I remember Lehigh beat Lafayette for one of their wins in the doubleheader when they started, or Lafayette beat Lehigh, and they let the ball advance all the way up the floor. So here they're trying to make him catch it up. He's going to go by him.
Rice down on 10 seconds. Rice will pivot in, throw it underneath looking for Newman. It's a turnover by Bucknell. And that should seal it for American. Bison won't give up. The inbound goes to O'Neal, and Bucknell didn't initially foul. They got the guy we wanted in O'Neal. He's able to pass off to Beckton, and Beckton can go to the line with 4.4 seconds left, a 5-point lead already in tow.
And here again, as we watch this and the tournament plays out, many teams, depending on games, just haven't been in these positions where we call game situations, where you just haven't had enough games. By now, at this time in February, you've had it. And then you throw in injuries, you throw in COVID, and you got some different combinations out there. This American team's a good basketball team. They got some veterans. They have some younger kids that can play, and it'd be fun to see them with a full complement for Bucknell.
Second shot is good. 78-71 with 4 seconds to go. Turner brings it down the floor and will heave one up right after the buzzer. That'll close it out. 78-71, American gets the win. So the Eagles go to 3-5 in the Patriot League. The Bison fall to 4-5 within the league. These teams play again tomorrow on American's Bender Arena floor. Bucknell take the loss here this afternoon. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, I believe we catch up with Coach Nathan Davis in just a moment on MyTV.
You're watching Bucknell Bison basketball on MyTV WQMY.
'78-71 American with the win today here at Soika over Bucknell. We're joined by Bison head coach Nathan Davis. Tough one this afternoon when it comes out to that final score, but back on the basketball court playing games for the first time in nearly a month. This season certainly has not been the easiest one, I'm sure, by any stretch. What does it mean to get back out there here today and tomorrow tuning up for the tournament play? What's a game like this do for this team?
Well, I think certainly it's nice to be able to get out and play again. It's been a long month, obviously, not being able to play or practice. But everyone's dealing with stuff this time of year, especially in this season. And we got to find a way in the next 24 hours to get better.
So, Coach, thank you again for coming over. I know this isn't easy, but I tell you, just being out here playing, I know it's been a tough road for all of you coaches and players. Give me a couple things that you like, what you're seeing, though, from this team. And I know there's not a lot to body to work with, but you've been practicing. Some of these kids have to have mental toughness just to be out there and play. Who are you liking? Is there things that you think are positive that you're heading the right way?
Well, I thought we have been. I think that our guys showed a lot of grit today. I mean, the reality is we did 30 minutes of 5-on-5 on Thursday and 30 minutes of 5-on-5 yesterday, and that's been it since February 2nd. So to come out and compete and play at a level where we could put up 71 points and have a chance to win against a solid team at the end, I think says a lot about our toughness and our ability. I think that there were some things out there that clearly were rust. You could see the number of times we fumbled the ball around or kind of just missed a pass or just missed a catch, a couple of layups. I think a lot of that goes back to the long layoff. So hopefully we can be better tomorrow and find a way to get one more point than American.
Good, Coach.
Finally, for your coach, senior day, John Meeks, Paul Newman, and Jordan Seachin being honored before the game. What do these seniors mean to Bucknell?
Well, they've contributed a lot to our program. They've been on championship teams. They've provided great leadership this year, and what's a really, really tough year. I mean, a lot of people could have thrown in the towel with the way our last month went, but they came back out. We obviously had 4 guys down, but no one was letting that be an excuse and came out expecting to win. And I think that goes back to the leadership they bring on a daily basis.
Coach, thank you so much for the time.
You're welcome.
Good luck, Nate. Safe travels.
It's Bison head coach Nathan Davis joining us. The Bison fall here today. It's a 78-71 final in favor of American. Bucknell, 23 out of 54 from the floor, 42% for the game. American was 25 of 55. Big news for the Bison here today. How about 24 pounds of coffee donated by Duncan to the Central Pennsylvania American PA Food Bank? 24 pounds of coffee courtesy of our friends at Duncan. Game high was Deuce Turner with 21 points. Jameer Harris had 19 to lead all scorers for American. Want to thank the entire crew here from MyTV. Certainly want to thank the Hall of Fame coach, Pat Flannery, for joining us once again this season. Coach, best of luck again, wherever the road takes you in retirement.
I better see you somewhere soon, Adam. It's been an absolute pleasure with you and Bob. Thank you very much for having me.
For Pat Flannery, for the entire crew here at MyTV, I'm Adam Marco. It's 78-71, the final. American gets the win. This has been Bucknell Bison basketball from Learfield IMG College on WQMY MyTV. Good night.
This has been a presentation from Learfield IMG College.